Welcome to the CLY, Christ Loves You Network. My name is Jene Phillips, and I will be your host for today's broadcast. Today is the 30th of April, 2018. Have you ever asked yourself, what is a Christian leader? Probably not. Most Christians have a fairly good concept of what a Christian leader is, but the definition hasn't been researched or studied as much as it should have. Leadership as a whole has been researched and studied for many years. There have been many different forms of leadership that have been identified due to those studies. Some of these forms that have been identified are transformational, authentic, servant, and adaptive. Peter G. Northouse defines leadership in his book, Leadership, Theory and Practice, as a process whereby an individual influences a group of individuals to achieve a common goal. Pastor Sherry Gardner, music and administrative pastor of Legacy Church of God, had this to say about the definition of leadership.
First, leadership is a person who leads people. That means that there has to be somebody who's following that person. There has to be something that that person has to say that makes people want to follow them. It's an influence. It's a state of authority.
Leadership. A state of authority and influence. Yes, leadership can be a state of authority. Yes, it definitely is a state of influence. Bishop John Gardner, the head pastor of Legacy Church of God, had this to say: Christian leadership is godly influence. It's being willing to be able to make the hard decisions. Pastor Sherry reminds us that 1 Corinthians 11:1, Paul tells us to follow my example as I follow the example of Christ. New International Version.
He says to duplicate what he's doing because he's duplicating what Christ is doing. And Christian leaders, they duplicate the life of Christ. Anything that they say or do should always reflect back on the way that Jesus taught us to live.
Christian leaders are to be followers of Christ who teach others to follow by that example. Charity Wiesnett, a member of an outreach coordinator for Legacy Church of God, says, to me, a Christian leader is someone that has a servant's heart, someone who is investing in people but also remaining flexible themselves to change, always allowing for correction, stretching, and growth. There are issues from being a Christian leader. For example, Jesus was not accepted by the Pharisees and Sadducees. They were afraid that he was going to take away their lives, their comfortable lifestyles that they were used to. This has not changed. Most people are afraid that Christian leaders and turning to Christianity is going to take away their comfortable lifestyles. Melissa Zamora, children's pastor at Legacy Church of God, comments, one of the key issues, adversities that comes against a leader. Times of adversity can be very discouraging to the leader. During these times, they must remain strong and persistent. A strong relationship with the Lord is a must. Bishop Gardner says, one of the big issues I see today is lack of respect and honor for spiritual authority. Christian leadership is not an easy task. A Christian leader is to be a follower of Christ, an example of Christ to those they lead. The Christian leader does not have to be a pastor. Rather, all Christians should be taught by the pastor to be a Christian leader in every aspect of their lives. Yes, to be a Christian leader, you must be willing to come against adversity. No, people will not always respect you or honor you. But Jesus tells us in his word, the Holy Bible, Matthew 5:39, But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. This is Jene Phillips with the CLY Network signing off. Have a blessed day.